Old mascaras, unloved eyeliners. Join me as I slash these and other miscellaneous eye products from my collection. Welcome back to Declutter Diaries. In the last episode, I purged bronzers and highlighters. Today, I'm going through some miscellaneous eye categories. I have 20 mascaras in this bucket, most of them over a year old. I know, yuck, right? The thing is, I haven't been using them, but I haven't thrown them away either, and I'm not really sure why, but that changes today. I'm not honestly sure if there's going to be anything left in this bucket. I might have to go to Walmart later and get a mascara. Plus, I've got this tub of eyeliners, most of which I never use. I rarely use a black eyeliner these days, and I almost never used colored eyeliners. So why do I still have so many of them? It's time for them to go. The goal here today is simple. Get rid of what's old and never used and keep what I love. And if that means there's nothing left, then even under the rules of my no-buy, that means I get to go shopping. In addition to these two categories, I'm also going to tackle brows and some other miscellaneous eye products. For the other Declutter Diary videos, before I started filming, I had my inventory spreadsheet filled out with everything in the category, when I purchased it, the dollar amount, all of that kind of stuff. I started that for these categories, and I realized that so much of this was not going to be in my inventory by the time I was done with this video that it was a waste of time for me to put it in the first place. So I will be updating those spreadsheets after I'm done with the declutter this time. Also, for all of the other videos, I did this top-down style, but I think for this category, because so many are going to just get thrown away anyway, and because they're going to tend to want to roll all over my desktop, I'm going to do this one face-to-face. So the first thing I'm going to do with this bin is I'm going to sort out anything that has a date prior to January 1st, 2024. Be right back. I have 11 mascaras that are going to get thrown away just on that criteria alone. But I want to go through them, tell you what I think about them, and whether or not I will repurchase them before I just go throw them away. First up is this Essence Lash Princess Sculpted Volume Mascara. This is the purple one, and it was okay, but I really didn't use it very often. My favorite Lash Princess is the green one, the False Lash Effect. That's the one. I don't have that in my collection right now, but it's definitely one that I have repurchased many times and will again when I'm in need of a mascara. So this one is going. I'm not going to repurchase it. The Wet n Wild Big Papa, I'm not exactly sure when I bought it, but I did a full face of Wet n Wild, and I think I purchased it for that. Either way, I know that it's old and gloopy and dried out, so I am going to throw this away. This isn't one of my favorites. I probably wouldn't repurchase it. I have the Essence Get Big Lashes Volume Boost Waterproof. I don't wear a waterproof mascara very often because they're hard to get off. I don't remember if this one was particularly hard to remove with my cleansing balm, but it isn't one that I've used a lot. I really just got it to have a waterproof mascara on hand because there are times that you know you're going to go to a movie that's going to make you cry or a wedding or something like that, and you really need a waterproof mascara in your inventory. However, if you don't use them very often, you do have to be diligent in replacing them when they get old. And that's what has to happen with this one. So I will purchase another waterproof mascara at some point. Don't know exactly when or which one I'm going to get. This 4D lengthening and curling mascara came in a set of with an eyeliner that I got from Temu when I did a full face of Temu, and that was a couple years ago. I don't know why I keep holding on to this. Like I said, most of these I haven't used in forever because I know they're old and I'm not going to put them on my eyes. This one I actually, it's really dry. This one I actually did like when it wasn't all dried out. But yeah, it needs to go. The L'Oreal Telescopic Lift, I got this in February of 2023, so it's 2 years old. This is one of those that I look at it and say, February 2023, oh, that's just a year. Oh, no, it's 2 years old. So yeah, it's got to go. It's dried out. It's gloopy, and I really do prefer the regular telescopic. That one I completely used up, and it hasn't been repurchased because I had 20 mascaras sitting here, and I knew that I didn't need any more mascaras. When I'm done with this, I might. A Believe Beauty, I bought this one. It was a really small, skinny wand, and I got it in brown, thinking it was one I could use on the lower lashes. However, I think it flaked, and so I never used it for the purpose. However, I found that I don't really like using a brown mascara, so I didn't really use it, and now it's a couple years old. The Catrice Glam and Doll Wash Off Mascara, I actually really liked this. I got it in November of 2023 when I did a full face of Catrice. That was my Black Friday brand that year. I had for a couple of years there done Black Friday where I shopped one brand and then did a full face of that brand. And Catrice was my 2023 brand. And this mascara was really good. I was thinking that it was going to be a tubing mascara. I don't really think it's a tubing mascara because it did not really wash off easily with just warm water. It came off great with my cleansing balm, but a true tubing mascara, warm water will just make the tubes fall right off. This did not do that. It's over a year old and it's going to go. I am not a stickler for replacing my mascara every 3 months. That seems wasteful to me. Over a year, however, seems a little excessive to be keeping it. And, we're talking about our eyes here. So while in the past I may have thought, I can go ahead and use this one, I'm just not going to anymore. I don't want to deal with styes or eye infections or anything like that. So they're going to go. The e.l.f. Lash and Roll. This is one of my favorite mascaras. This one was purchased in October of 2023. It's dried out. I've pretty much just been keeping the tube so that I could do the declutter and tell you about it. Definitely will repurchase this one at some point. I really like it. I don't have to curl my lashes before using it. It will curl my lashes, keep the curl, doesn't flake or smudge, and yeah, I really like it. The Thrive Liquid Lash Extensions. This is my favorite tubing mascara, and to be quite honest, I am tempted to keep using it because I like it so much, and I really don't want to pay for another tube of it. This one I got through Ipsy when it was like half off in the Ipsy drop shop. So I only paid like $12.50 for it instead of $25. But I do know that it's at least a year and a half, probably 2 years old. So as much as the miser in me wants to keep using it, I think I'm going to get rid of it. Another e.l.f. mascara that I really, really like, and it will definitely be a repurchase, is the e.l.f. Lash Extender. This is a pretty close dupe to the Thrive, and you can see with the packaging that that's exactly what they were going for. It is not exact. It doesn't remove quite the way the Thrive does, but it does remove with warm water. It is a tubing mascara, and for the price, it's definitely a good alternative to the Thrive. So I will repurchase this. Now the Thrive, if I can find it half off again someday, yeah, I'm going to repurchase that too. But I'll get this one first. This was a December 2023, so it's not all that much over a year old, but my cutoff is 1 year. And then the final mascara in the absolutely going to go, no questions asked, is the Nobu Lash Mascara. I got this in PR from Nobu Lash. It has that Christmas tree wand that I really like. I tend to be able to do a pretty good job getting it on my lashes without making a huge mess with it. And I really do enjoy this mascara as well. Not sure about repurchasing it because it is a little bit more expensive, and I tend to be more of a drugstore affordable girl, but I was very glad to have it and use it. I hope you're relaxing with a snack or a beverage. I've got some iced matcha today. If you aren't yet subscribed and you enjoy content for the mature woman over 50, makeup, beauty, lifestyle, issues that are important to us, then I would invite you to hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on so you don't miss any of our content. If you are new here, please introduce yourself down in the comments. I would love to say hello and welcome you to the family. All right, so those are the mascaras that are out of here. No questions asked. 11 mascaras out the door. What about the ones that are left? Let's check the dates. I've got 2 from January of 2024, which makes them over a year old, and both of them are getting thrown away, but for different reasons. This one's going because it's empty. I used it up. There's nothing left in here. I mean, I could probably scrape around on the sides and get a little out, but I did use it up. It's going in my empties, and you will see it when I do my empties, either at the end of March or April. That will depend on how much has built up when I do that. This one, however, this lash step, this came in the accidental Ipsy that I got. I'll put that video up here. I didn't realize in an email that I got from Ipsy that clicking on the button to take me to look at the bag actually signed me up for the bag. And by the time I realized that I couldn't cancel the bag, I could cancel any future bags, but I was kind of stuck getting the one. And it was my fault. I didn't read the fine print. But anyway, so I got the accidental Ipsy, and this was in it. And the first time I used it, I made a huge mess with it. It was everywhere. It was all over my hands. It was all over my face. And so I thought, okay, well, it's a really wet formula, and if I let it dry out a little, it'll be better. And so I did, and I tried it again, and it was still messy. And then I kind of forgot about it. And when I was doing my spreadsheets, I went back through old videos to see like when I introduced things so that I had a better idea when I got them. And that's when I remembered that this was such a mess to use. And so I tried it again like a month ago, and it was still a mess. I make a mess with mascara sometimes, like I'll get it on the bridge of my nose or I'll have a few dots or something, but I don't get it all over my hands. This one was everywhere. So I'm throwing it away, and I don't recommend this Lash Step mascara if you're a little prone to mascara messes, because this one's terrible. Or maybe it's just me. Next up, I have April 2024, and this is the Maybelline Lash Sensational. I love this. I love this brush. It gives such a nice fanned out eyelash. This is almost gone, coming up on a year. When I hit the year mark, I will get rid of this, but I'm hoping that by then it will be gone, especially since I don't have 20 mascaras burying it in my mascara basket. So this is the first one out of all of these that is getting to stay. Next up is the Tartelette Tubing Mascara. I got this in the bundle last May when Tarte had its buy 7 products for $69. And I like this mascara. It does not come off like a tubing mascara from what I understand. The new one does. I'm not sure exactly what that's called, but I will look it up and put it up here so you can see the difference. If I repurchased the Tarte mascara, I would want to get that one and not this one because I want a true tubing mascara. And this one comes off easily with my cleansing balm, but it is not a tubing mascara in the sense that it doesn't just slide off with warm water. But I'm not going to get rid of it. So yay, I get to keep 2. In June, I did a full face of Wet n Wild, and that's when I got this So Defined mascara, volumized defining mascara, and I like this one. It has kind of that weird half-curved brush that's like flat on the top here. So like if you want to deposit extra product in one place, you can do it with that and then flip it and brush it through. It's getting a little gloppy. Can you see that? So even though it's under the year mark, I'm going to have to see and use it, see if it flakes, because when they start to dry out, they might get a little more flaky, and make a decision after I use it a time or two if it actually is going to stay or not. It might be past its prime and need to move on. And then in September, Wet n Wild had their Halloween display out, and there was the Nightmare Before Christmas collection, and in that was a tubing mascara. And I'm always on the lookout for a good drugstore tubing mascara. I know you probably think, well, why haven't you tried the Milani yet? I just haven't, but it's on my list. And depending on how many mascaras I have left, when my first quarter no-buy is over, that might be one I try. Have you tried the Milani tubing mascara? Let me know down below if you like it and if you think I should try it. This one has a really small wand, and I love this, especially as, here, hold that up so you can see. I love this especially as a first coat mascara because it really just separates all of the lashes. Honestly, a really great combination is this as the first coat, and then this over the top of that, because this gives a lot more volume and length. But just fanned out, no clumpy spider lashes. You can see them all. Really like this combination, but this is a great first mascara. And it was probably a special edition, so I'm not sure if you can still get this or if they have repackaged the tubing into one that you can get now. I'll have to check and see. I'll let you know on the screen if I find out if it's available or not. Finally, we're getting into some more recent ones. In October of 2024, City Beauty sent me this Beyond mascara, and I really do like this mascara. It does a great job giving length and volume. Not thrilled with the brush. It's that hourglass shape, and having the big end over here tends to mean that I make a mess on the inside of my nose. I almost always, no matter how careful I am, end up touching the wand to the inside of my nose. Thankfully, it does clean up easily. If you let it dry, it'll flick right off with a stiff brush or a spoolie, but it's a step I have to do almost every time I use it. I would prefer a more tapered brush. It makes it easier to get in those little lashes. I understand the concept that with this bigger end that you're supposed to be able to grab those little lashes better. It's just not precise enough. So anyway, but I do like this. I will keep it. I will continue to use it. And I very much appreciate City Beauty sending it to me. I have a small travel size of this Clinique High Impact Mascara. I had this for quite some time, but I didn't open it until October of 2024. So this one is still well within the use limit. Even if you were going for like a 6-month limit, this one is good. It has a very standard wand. The thing about travel sizes are the wand is the same length, but the handle's a little shorter, so it's a little bit more awkward to use. But this is a great mascara. I have not had any complaints about it. It does a good job giving length and volume, stays all day, and easy to remove with my cleansing balm. So really do enjoy this. I probably wouldn't pay the Clinique price to repurchase it again, but I'm glad to have it and use it, especially because probably by April, I'm going to be down to about 3 mascaras. And then the last mascaras I have are from Prime Prometics, and they sent me a PR package of the black, navy blue, and brown. And I didn't count the navy blue and the brown in my initial total of 20 mascaras because I really don't use them. I tried each of them to see what the colors looked like, and I don't like them on my eyes. I like black mascara. I know brown is supposed to be less harsh, but I feel like with my coloring, if I use a brown mascara, there's just not enough contrast that everything still kind of just blends in. Without makeup, my eyelashes are blonde, my eyebrows are blonde, my hair is blonde, my skin is pale, and I just kind of have a pretty washed out look. I don't feel like brown mascara livens that up enough. So these I don't really consider to be part of my collection, and I'm not sure what to do with them since I've used them like once or twice each. It's not like I can pass them on to somebody, but they're also new and I don't want to throw them away. So they're just in their boxes kind of sitting here, and I didn't include them in my totals. The black, however, I really, really like. It does have a brush that works really well for me. It's a regular kind of bristly brush, but it tapers on the end and the bristles are closer together. So it makes it really easy to get in there and grab those tiny little lashes in the inner corner and get them coated. So I very much like this Prime Prometics black mascara. And it is a company that's geared for makeup for mature women, and I very much appreciate that. So of the 20 mascaras I started with, I'm keeping 7. One of the 13 that are going was actually empty, and the other 12 are just going in the trash. This is your friendly reminder to check when you purchased your mascaras, because time goes by so much faster than you think, and those mascaras that you think you've only had for 6 months might have been sitting around for a year and 6 months. And in order to make it easier to know that in the future, every product when it comes into my inventory from now on is going to get a date of when it was purchased so that I never have to go through all of my orders to find out that information again. I do have one primer. This is from Essence. It's the Volume Booster Lash Primer. I don't often use a lash primer, and I'm not really sure how long I've had this, so I'm actually going to be getting rid of this one as well. I'm not going to repurchase a lash primer right now because, like I said, I hardly ever use one, but at some point in the future, I probably will. But for now, this one's going to go, and I'm not going to repurchase one. Moving on to eyeliners, there are 32 eyeliners in this bucket, and I bet when I'm done, it'll be down at least half. Let me get them out and sort them. First up are my black eyeliners. I almost never use black. There are some eye looks that black looks better than brown, but in those cases, I tend to go to charcoal and not black. So I really think I only need to keep probably one of the 5 black eyeliners that I have. However, I only have one black liquid liner. This one is from Moira. It is a good liquid liner, so I'm going to keep it. It isn't that I wear it very often, but it's nice to have at least one. So that one gets to stay. Now the black pencil liners. This one is a Maybelline Expert Wear. I'm going to do the swatch this way and then turn it around. It is a really nice black. It was very creamy, and it does have a smudger on the other end. So that one's a contender. How much is left of that? Kind of a lot. Okay. Then I have the Sigma one. I didn't realize that it was retractable. It looks like a sharpening pencil. And so I tried to sharpen it, and I mucked up the plastic on the end here. And apparently I'm not the only one, because I recently heard from my friend Andy and my friend Leanna that they both did the exact same thing. So, you know, at least I'm in good company. This is a really nice black liner. It also has a sharpener on the end. So this one I think has moved up to the front of the pack. in front of the Maybelline. It's a little more black and a little more creamy. However, the Maybelline's a little more charcoal, so it might get to move over into that category. We'll see. Next one is this Eye of Horus, and I think I got this in an Ipsy. It also has a smudger on the end, and let's see what it looks like. It's a pretty nice black liner too, so I don't know, you guys. That's why they're still here, because they're good. Now, this one I know I'm going to get rid of. This is the Clinique. I got this in an Ipsy, and it's a really fine, it's like a micro pencil, super creamy. Really, really liked it. The problem with it is it transfers to my lower waterline, and I don't like that. The other thing is it will twist up, but it won't twist back down. So if you get too much up, you're out of luck. I think I'm going to get rid of this one. I don't like that it transfers, because I don't want to have to sit there with my eyes open and not blink while it dries. This one I definitely am getting rid of. And then the last one I have is the Wet n Wild Kohl eyeliner in Baby's Got Black. These are like $1.25 at Walmart. And it's also super creamy and really nice. And my goodness, it's so big, it'll last like, 5 years or something like that. But I think I'm going to keep the Sigma and the Maybelline. I said I was only going to keep one, but I think I'm going to keep two. And C, I'm not sure about the Maybelline if it transfers to the lower waterline or not. I know the Sigma does not. But I'm going to keep both of those. And then these three I'm going to get rid of. Next, charcoal or gray. And I have two of those. Really kind of one. The other one's a little bit lighter. But this one is the Essence Stay and Play Gel Eyeliner in the shade Stardust Love. And I really, really like this. It's a charcoal, but it's almost a little shimmery. And when I have those eye looks that are a little bit cooler and lend themselves more to a black eyeliner than a brown, oftentimes I reach for this one. So it is not going anywhere. This one comes in a set of 3 from, I was afraid that was going to be the case, from Physicians Formula, and I've had it for a really long time. This is the Physician Formula Shimmer Sticks, and it's kind of dry and crumbly. So I was afraid that it needs to be decluttered. It's really just too old. It was one that I would use in the lower waterline, but I have another silver that I can use, so I'm going to declutter this one. Moving into the browns, I have 5 brown eyeliners. I have the Wet n Wild Kohl eyeliner pencil in Simma Brown Now. This one I was working on all last year in my Out the Door in 24, and I want to keep it and continue working on it at least until it stops working well. It's still creamy, it still transfers well to the waterline, and so I really, really, really want to use this thing up. It started out the same size as this guy. I don't know if I can even get it. There we go. And so I've used it a lot. I want to use it up. Keeping that one. And then I have another Wet n Wild, and I only know it's Wet n Wild because I can see the ghost of the word wet. And even though it's still really soft and creamy, it's even older than this one. And so I think I'm going to declutter this one. And therefore, I think I'm going to steal the cap off of it and replace this broken plastic cap so that it has a better cap. I also have a Moira eye exposure pencil in dark brown, and this one is also really creamy. I'm going to do that live so you can see. It transfers really easily and is very dark brown, goes on the waterline great, doesn't transfer to the lower waterline, so I'm keeping that one as well. And then the third one I have is from BH Cosmetics, the BH Power Pencil. It may have had more of a name, but all I can see is brown. And again, just creamy and dark. And all of these are about the same size. And I really want to use them up. So I kind of just rotate through them. There's essentially no difference in how they work, except for this one's $1.25 and these are more, and this one you can't get. So I want to use them up. Keeping all 3 of them. Then this one isn't really brown, it's bronze. It's easy on the eyes, and it is a lighter brown and kind of a bronzy. It is also a twist up. I use this one on the lower lash line in the outer corner a lot because sometimes I don't want it to be quite as dark brown, but I want that kind of bronzy. This is really pretty if you're doing a bronzy glam look. It has just a little bit of sparkle to it, but not like glitter. So also keeping that one. I can't decide if I keep this with my brown eyeliners or I keep it with the colored eyeliners. I don't know. I have 9 colored eyeliners, and I don't really use colored eyeliners anymore except for green and sometimes navy. I have a couple in here that are green. My favorite is this one from Dose of Colors that I got in an Ipsy, and there's not very much left of it, but it is a really pretty dark green. Unfortunately, it's getting a little dry. It's still usable. Still plan to keep it. I also have this dark green from Coastal Scents. It's a little more teal than Forest, and I think I'm going to keep this one as well. I haven't used it in a really long time, so I'm not sure how well it performs, but I want to use it before I decide to get rid of it. I have this dual-ended liner from Formula Z. Honestly, I have no idea where this came from. There's a green on one end called Emerald, and the other one is called Sky. The Emerald, kind of an olive. I wouldn't call it emerald. So those are the shades there, Emerald and Sky. You know what? I'm going to declutter this because even though it's really creamy and they're kind of pretty, they're not shades that I would ever reach for to use. So there's no reason for it to be in my collection. I'm going to get rid of it. The other one I have that's green, I think, is ColourPop Cream Gel Liner. And, oh, it's broken. Yeah, it's not one that I'm going to use, and it's broken, and there's not much left that's not broken, so yeah, I'm just going to get rid of this one. It's kind of a mess. And now moving into the blues, and I almost never use blue. First up is this e.l.f. No Budge Retractable Liner in Navy, and it's really dry. It's kind of always been really dry, but it's really dry now. I don't think that this would transfer easily onto my eyes, especially with the crepiness on my lids. If there's anything that goes and it tugs, it's just going to skip right over that crepiness and look like the dotted line down the middle of the highway. So this one's going. I've got another one from Coastal Scents. I don't see a shade on here anywhere, but again, it is a navy. I'm not going to wear this. If I do a blue shadow look, I'm probably going to do charcoal or black to help anchor it. Realistically, I'm not going to go that bright on an eyeliner. My fantasy self might think that she's going to, but she never is. So we're going to rein her in and declutter that one. I do sometimes use a purple liner, and I bought this one from Moira. It's the Statement Gel Liner in purple, and I was hoping that it would be a deeper purple than it is. It's incredibly creamy. It's really pretty, and because it's kind of new, I'm going to go ahead and keep it. I really wanted it to be a deeper purple, but if I put like a charcoal on first and then this deeper purple, I think I could get the shade that I actually want. So I'm not getting rid of that one. Then I have this Essence Long Lasting pencil, and I think this is Ta 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 Turquoise. It's really pretty, really creamy, and I do sometimes use this in the lower waterline in the spring or summer when I've got a really peachy coral look on. So I'm going to keep this one. And I think just having a couple of fun ones will be good rather than having a whole collection of them. This one, however, is the LA Girl Shockwave Neon Gel Liner. And it is, first of all, it needs to be sharpened. I wanted to see if sharpening helps it not be. Okay, that did make it creamier. You know what? I'm going to keep this one instead of this one because I think if I do a lower waterline, I'm probably going to be more likely to go with this shade than I am this bright blue. So, changing my mind on the fly. As far as longevity, the Moira Purple and the e.l.f. Navy, they're the ones that I'm having to scrub a little harder at to get off. Honestly, that Moira might have been a little too hard to get off. You want them to last, but you do want to be able to remove them at the end of the night. My last category are the light ones that I like to use in the lower waterline, and I didn't realize that I had quite so many. This is the reason I don't need to worry about keeping that Physicians Formula. This is the NYX eye pencil in silver. And so when I want a silver in the lower waterline, that's the one I reach for. I have a couple of pinks. This one is the BH Power Pencil. I think it was in Pearl Pink. I can't read the shade anymore. So I really want to just use this thing up. I can't imagine that there's much left in there. Typically you can sharpen till about where you get to the cap. So I really want to use that one up. Staying. Why did they put gold writing on gold components? Seriously. This is from She Glam. It's the Fairy Wand highlighter pencil. I haven't bought anything from She Glam in a really long time. This one's a little bit peach, and I'm not sure I like it. I'm going to declutter this one. I did get a new one from ColourPop when they had a sale last fall, and this one is the cream gel liner in Calabasas. That is a very brightening shade. I am leaving this one in its box until I use up the BH Cosmetics one, however. This is the LA Girl Shockwave liner in Lullaby, and it's a little bit more on the, not really gold inside, but more of a whitish gold versus these pinks over here. And I really like this one, plan to keep that. I use that a lot. I have a white in the Essence Kajal pencil, and really, I never use just white. I think it's way too stark. I can't imagine a situation where I would use it, so I'm going to declutter this one. In the gold family, I have another Moira Eye Exposure Pencil in Soft Gold, and this one I really like. It's very creamy, and I do intend to keep it and use it, and probably will have it used up by the end of this year. ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in Extra Frosting. This one is yellow, and it is not at all flattering on my skin tone. So I'm going to declutter this one. It's brightening, it's pretty, but it's not pretty on me. An LA Colors Gel Liner in Party Time. This is a blue, and it's a little bit too dark to use in the lower waterline for a brightening shade, but it's also a little too 80s blue for me to comfortably use. So I'm going to declutter this one. It's not a shade that I will use. And then I have two sort of pinky purples. This one is from NYX. It's the Epic Wear Liner. What is it called? Epic Wear Liner Stick in Frosted Lilac. And I put that one right there. This is really pretty. I'm going to keep that. And then the other one is the Maybelline Lasting Drama Light Liner in Moonlight Purple. I love these Lasting Drama liners. My favorite of them is the Starlight Gold. I don't have it right now. So you can see this is a little bit of a deeper purple versus the lilac there. So I'm keeping both of those because they are different. I've had the Starlight Gold. I've used up 2, maybe 3 of those. And I'm not planning on repurchasing it until I use up this Moira pencil. When the Moira's gone, then I'll get the Maybelline again, if I can find it. Sometimes they are hard to find, and I am afraid that they're being discontinued because sometimes when you find them, they're really expensive. So if it's still around when this guy's gone, then I will repurchase the Maybelline. If it's not, then I'll just get this one again. So of the 32 pencil liners that I started with, I'm decluttering 14 of them, which means I'm keeping 18. I think that is a really good declutter, especially since it really wasn't that long ago that I decluttered my eyeliners for the first time. I knew that there were more to go. It was just hard to get rid of that many all at once. So this feels really manageable. I know that no matter what I pick from my eyeliners, I like them. I don't have to sort through all of this to get to the ones I like. Next category is brows, and I have 11 brow products. I'm not going to divide them up into like categories or anything because I don't have really enough of anything to make that make sense. 11 brow products. I have 2 brow gels. This one from Catrice is the Color and Fix, and it is in the shade Blonde. Unfortunately, it's a little bit warm for me. I think you can see if you look at that, that it's not really a cool blonde, it's a warm blonde. And I can use it, I can make it work, so I'm going to keep using it, but I wouldn't repurchase it, at least in this shade. I like the brow gel, I like the formula, I just don't like the shade. The other one I have is the Essence Make Me Brow, and this is the 03 Soft Brownie Brows, I think is what it's called. And I like this too. I just really don't like the spoolie. It's so small and compact this way that it's hard to like get in and brush the brows. What I really like is the spoolie on this Browsessive. What I was really hoping was, because this is gone, I was hoping I could put this in here and screw it down and use this one. Well, it fits in, but it doesn't screw on. So I'm keeping the Browsessive so that I can use the spoolie from this one in here. Yes, it's a pain, but I kind of like the Browsessive better, I think, than the Essence. So I don't know. When I repurchase, I might get this one instead of this. I also really like the e.l.f. Wow Brow. I used to just kind of go back and forth between this and the e.l.f. I might now go back and forth between this and the e.l.f. We'll see. Anyway, this is not gone. This is empty. I just had this in my empties video that I just put up last week. Then I have 4 brow pencils, and I thought I only had 3. This one was kind of hiding. This is the Wet n Wild Browsessive Brow Pencil. This one got buried in my brow bin, and I didn't know I had it, and I wish I'd been using it all along because it is a bit of a lighter shade, and the one that I've been using is a little dark. So I intend to keep this and definitely use it along with the Wet n Wild Retractable Brow Pencil in Ash Brown, which is just a little bit dark. There's not a ton of difference in those shades, but if I blend them together, I can make this one work better and get it used up because I don't really like this fat pencil. I much prefer a thinner pencil. And this isn't a micro brow pencil, but at least I can sharpen it and make it pointier so that I can draw in the little hair-like strokes. The LA Girl Shady Slim Brow Pencil. I typically love this brow pencil. This is in taupe, but boy, it is so warm. It's almost like straight up orange, and I don't remember it being that shade before. So I'm actually going to declutter this one because this shade just does not look good on my skin tone. That one's going. The last one I have is the ColourPop Precision Brow Pencil in taupe. This one is really hard to twist up. I don't understand why, but it is also just a little bit deep, but I think if I mix it with that other shade, that it will work out really well. It's very creamy, and I love the small tip on it. It's great for drawing in those little hairs. So I only have these 3 brow pencils right now. When they're gone, I will either buy the Maybelline Micro Brow Pencil or the CoverGirl Easy Breezy Brow Pencil. I think those 2 are my favorites. And then the other brow product I have is the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen in taupe. And sometimes I use this and sometimes I don't. It seems like when I use it, it looks really dark on my eyebrows, but it doesn't look really dark on my hand. So I don't understand why that is. Maybe I just need more practice because I kind of feel like I make a mess of it when I use it on my eyes. But that shade should be really good on me. So I'm going to keep it and keep working with it and see if I can make this help with drawing in those little hairs that I don't have in the places I don't have them. The Sigma Brow Wax I got in the 12 Days of Sigma that I got from Jen Phelps when I won her 100,000 sub giveaway. And I never use a brow wax, ever. If I use a gel, it needs to be a tinted gel because I have blonde and gray eyebrow hairs. And so they need to have color on them. Anything that's clear is just kind of a waste of time and space because I need to color them. If I want something to hold them, it has to also have tint to it. So I think I'm going to get rid of this brow wax. Then I have this Anastasia Brow Powder Duo in Ash Brown. And I just don't use a brow powder. I am going to see if I can find somebody who wants it and declutter it because it just sits. I think when I'm looking at it to declutter it, it's ABH. I should keep it. Then I should use it. And I never do. So even though it's ABH, I'm going to find somebody who will use it or get rid of it. Okay, then I have 2 of these eyebrow contouring highlighting sticks that I never use because I don't highlight my brow bone very often because my brow bone is already kind of prominent, and when you highlight it, it just makes it more prominent. However, I am going to check the shades on these because I will keep one of them, and I want to see which one has the better shade. Okay, the $1 Billion Brows has one side that's pretty yellow. That's this guy right there. But the one next to it is a pretty good shade. The L'Oreal, on the other hand, are these 2, and both of them are kind of yellow. So I'm going to get rid of the L'Oreal and keep the $1 Billion Brows. Now, I didn't have much in the way of brow products anyway, so the declutter isn't that extreme, but I am getting rid of 4 things, which leaves me with 7. I was also considering going through my pot shadows and shadow sticks, crayons, that kind of thing, but I just did this not very long ago, and when I look in this drawer, there's really nothing else that I want to get rid of. If you want to see what I decluttered and what I kept, I will put that video up here so you can go look at it, but I'm not going to take the time right now to go through this. Honestly, since I did that declutter, I haven't really used what's in this drawer, but it all is in one drawer, and I am going to try to figure out a way of dipping into this and using it, if not once a week, at least a couple of times a month. But I know that these are not things that I use very often. If I'm going to do my eyes, I'm reaching into a palette, sometimes 2 or 3 palettes, but I never think to open this drawer. So somehow I have to figure out a way to make that happen. Okay, so let's recap. I started out with 20 mascaras, decluttered 13 of them, leaving me with 7. Now, I am going to either use up or get rid of all 7 of those within this year because they will be over a year old, and I have decided that 1 year is my cutoff date for mascaras. And so when I do that, I'm going to have to buy mascara. But I think I would like to have a goal of no more than 5 mascaras open in my collection at any one time. So started with 20, decluttered 13, have 7. My goal at the end of the year is 5 current usable mascaras. For eyeliners, I started out with 32 and I decluttered 14, leaving me with 18. I hope that I will use up those 3 small brown eyeliners and then replace them with 1 brown eyeliner. And there's probably a couple of other things that will either dry out or that I will finish. So I think the goal for my eyeliner category is 15. I think that's a reasonable goal. There's enough variety there, different color families, that kind of stuff, without being overwhelming. And then in my eyebrow category, started with 11 products, decluttered 4, leaving me with 7, which I think is completely reasonable for eyebrows, especially considering that there's a variety of products there. You got eyebrow pencils, brow gel, the brow pen, and then also the highlighter. So I don't think that 5 to 7 is unreasonable. And eyebrow pencils are something that I definitely go through. In fact, in my empties video that I just did and posted last week, there were 4 of them in there. So eyebrow is just kind of a utilitarian category for me, and it's not something I have a problem with. So not really going to worry too much about it. I did a little quick math, and I started out with 63 total products that I showed you today. And I decluttered 31 of them, which means I got rid of pretty much half of everything that I showed you in these 3 categories: mascaras, liners, and brows. If you remember when I started, my goal was to slash the old and unused and keep only what I love and what works for me. And I think I did that. There are only 2 more categories, lips and eyeshadow palettes. If you want to make sure that you don't miss those, then be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I had hoped to have these done much sooner in the year, but I wanted to do them right and not rush the process. So those final 2 videos will be coming soon. If you have a little more time to hang out, I'm going to put a video there for you. I'll see you in that one or another one. I hope you have a beautiful, blessed day. Bye-bye.